Hey kids, it's the Missenden Flyer here. How you doing? Hope you're well. It's an absolutely glorious day. You join me here riding through the Chilterns. Rather annoyingly stuck behind this car, but he has got a Think Bike sticker on the windscreen or the back window, so he must be bike friendly, so that's okay. He's rather stopping my progress a bit. Anyway, I thought it was high time I came out and did part 2 of my little series on famous people and places of the local area. So you find me on a super hot day. It's August the 1st. We've had an absolutely cracking July here in the UK. Well, certainly the south part of the UK. And today is another one of those days. It's 32 degrees centigrade, which for my international viewers, I know there are one or two, is most unusual for the UK for us to get this sort of temperature. So it's a really hot day. I've got my summer riding kit on. I actually all I've got is my summer riding kit on. I don't even have a t-shirt on underneath it, and I'm still hot, so that just shows you how warm it is. Anyway, as you can see, it's lovely here in the Chilterns, and I'm just off to scout out one or two local areas of interest. So the first one is of interest to anyone that might be a horror movie fan, because I'm now looking for what in the late 1970s and 1980s was the headquarters for the Hamden House of Horror, which is just down this road. So I don't know if you know much about Hamden House of Horror. I remember watching it as a child. If you're young, you might not remember it because they were only on, as I say, during the late 70s and 80s. And in fact, many of the episodes were set in the Great Missenden area and on these very roads that I'm riding now. So some of these may look familiar to you if you're a horror connoisseur. Anyway, what I'm looking for is what's called Hamden House, which is the headquarters, or as I say, was the headquarters for Hamden House of Horror back then, which is a very successful franchise, well not a franchise, a successful series of horrors that were recorded on a budget. They're quite hilarious if you watch them now. I recently bought the DVDs from Amazon and have watched a few. But I understand they're really successful in the US, and the stories themselves still stack up. It's just when you watch them now, the effects and so on are just hilarious. Anyway, let me find this place and show it to you. So here we are, just coming up to it now, behind these gates. Probably not much to see, unfortunately. It's a private residence, so I can't go in there now, but I'll go up towards it. This location, not only was it the administrative headquarters for Hamden House of Horror, but it actually featured in an awful lot of the films. Not sure if you can see through there. Probably you can't see much. I'll just go up to the gate and see what we can see. No, I can't see anything, which is a shame. Should have come on a Sunday. But just through those gates is Hamden House, which was the headquarters for Hamden House of Horror. Beautiful location, as you can see. I'll see if I can position myself to get a view of the house so you can see, and if you are a fan of such things you might recognise it. Just down there, one of the episodes, I'm reliably informed, Diana Dawes was filmed down there. There's a name from the past. Sadly she's no longer with us. Okay, so that's the first location, Hamden House, the HQ of Hamden House of Horror. Where will the tour take us to next? Stay tuned and let's find out. Okay, so I failed to find a better view of Hamden House, so sorry about that. I'm sure in the winter there's a view on one of these roads where you can look down a sort of an avenue and see the house at the end. So failed miserably there, but take my word for it, it was behind there. Next place is actually, it was a sort of a bonus. I forgot about this. It's en route to where I was going anyway. Just as I go down this little road towards the fabulous village of Wendover, you stumble across this house up here, just behind these gates. I'm sure I may have mentioned it to you before on one of these vlogs, but just behind those gates there, I'll slow down now so you can see it. There, with the sort of security-looking bits and pieces, that is Chequers. That's for those of you that don't know, that is the weekend retreat of the British Prime Minister. It was a gift to the nation, and I think originally the first Prime Minister that may have had access to it may have been Claire Matley, but certainly Churchill used it during the war, meetings there with the likes of Roosevelt. Amazing the history that has actually happened there. Since I've lived in the area, I've I've seen helicopters land there with US presidents on board. I've had armed policemen jump out of these hedges and stop me as the Prime Minister has been wafted through. So it all looks very tame and quiet, but yeah, it all happens here. So I don't know if you can get a view through the hedge. No, again, it's because it's summer, it's all grown up, so you can't really see it. But there is some evidence of security as we came around that corner. I don't know if you saw the cameras. Let's have a look. Can we see it through here? I won't linger for too long because he is obviously highly secure. So that's his vegetable garden there, and there's a camera looking at me. Can you see that camera? Little black camera there. Again, we won't linger because I think if I do linger looking at cameras with my camera, I might draw some attention of somebody, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so that was a little bonus. That's Chequers, the Prime Minister's retreat, en route to our next stop. By the way, it's probably just worth noting that all these little areas I'm showing you are all very close to each other, and another biker, hello. All these areas are very close to each other, and I'm probably not venturing more than at any point more than 6 miles away from Great Missenden where I'm based. So they really are local sites. Okay, just as I ride through here, again, this may well be a very familiar road to you. I've filmed myself riding up here many times. This road that leads to Wendover is in the village of Ellsborough, and I mention Ellsborough only because this is the home of somebody famous. Jackie Stewart lives here. Jackie Stewart is the ex-Scottish, well, he's still Scottish, but he's an ex-racing driver, famous through the 60s and 70s. I think I'm right in saying he was Britain's first world champion. No, I'm wrong, of course. Sterling Moss predates Jackie Stewart, so I apologise, and there may be others as well. Just shows how rubbish I am at motor racing history. However, Jackie Stewart does live in this village now. I don't know where, but around here somewhere. So a little bit different to Monaco, but if he's a golfer, which I have a feeling he is, I seem to remember seeing him in his tartan golfing kit, then I'm sure he plays on this golf course on a regular basis. Okay, stay tuned, coming up to the next spot soon. Okay, on the sign there you might be able to see we're just coming into the village of, or town of, Wendover. It's a lovely little town, and the reason why I've added this in, well, there's 2 reasons actually. One is because is a link back to Chequers before. John Major, ex-British Prime Minister, I once heard on a TV programme telling a story about how he came here with Boris Yeltsin, the then Premier or President of Russia. It was one Sunday, and it was in the days before pubs in the UK were open all day Sunday, and they'd be meeting at Chequers for something important, and John Major decided to lighten up things. He would bring Boris here and to this pub here on the left. You see, it's called the Shoulder of Mutton, just up there. Very nice looking place. Went there one Sunday with Boris, and sadly it was shut, so they banged on the door to try and get some service so that Boris Yeltsin could try a beer. And they banged on the door, and the rather miserable publican shouted from the other side of the door, you know, go away, we're not open. And they shouted, is it possible you can open up? It's the President of Russia. He apparently shouted back, well, I'm the Queen of Sheba, I'm still shut, sod off. So that was that. Anyway, that was one reason why I came here, but the other reason why I wanted to come to Wendover was to show you down here, and this one to me blows my mind even more. Down this road here, on the left, are a row of cottages. They're known as Anne Boleyn's cottages. See them here? Just here, these oldie worldy cottages that hopefully I'm pointing at now. They're known as Anne Boleyn's cottages, and that is because they were reputedly given to Anne Boleyn as a wedding present by Henry VIII. Isn't that incredible? I dare say Wendover looked a lot different to the way it does today, but that's why they're famous, and that's a link to Henry VIII and Wendover. So if you travel about 10 miles or so east of Wendover on the A413 in the direction of London, come to this place. So you may have seen from the signs there, this is Amersham. And this is again a lovely old town. It's quite hard to believe that actually we're only about 35 miles from the centre of London here, yet you've got these great little places that are full of history. Anyway, why have I brought you to Amersham? Well, I'm sure there's probably lots of things that Amersham is famous for, but the one I brought you here for is to show you yet another couple of pubs actually. Another biker, hello sir, nice bike. to show you a couple of pubs that were used in the film Four Weddings and a Funeral. That film of the 90s, big hit at the time, with the fella with the floppy hair in it, and who else was it? Andy McDowell? I think so. Anyway, one of the very weddings of said Four Weddings was at a pub called the Jolly Boatman, or at least it was in the film, and in fact that pub itself is here. As I say, it's two pubs. One was used for the interior and one was used for the exterior. Now the first one, which maybe you have to see this white half-timbered building up here on the right, is actually called the King's Arms Hotel. This, I believe, is what was used as the external. See that fantastic building there? That was the one used for the external parts of the Jolly Boatman. And then there's another pub just up here. You can see the Crown up here. It says Hotel, and it says Crown Hotel. I believe that was used for the internals. I might have it the wrong way round. There's a four-poster bed that was used in the film, and apparently after the film came out, the pub or the hotel got an awful lot of bookings for that room that was used. And I have to admit, I got married around here as well, and in fact spent my wedding night in one of those very rooms. Anyway, I'll gloss over that. So there we go. That's Amersham Old Town. Very nice it is too, as you saw, used in the film Four Weddings and a Funeral. Okay, stay tuned. That was number 5 in our whistle-stop tour of famous places, people and locations of the Great Missenden area. One more to do before we wrap up. Any guesses as to what that might be? Stay tuned, find out. Okay folks, I've come west about 5 miles from Amersham, and I'm heading now back into Great Missenden itself. Did you guess that one? For several reasons. First of all, I want to show the pub here on the left. This pub is called the King's Head, I believe. Nag's Head, sorry. Nag's Head, there it is. 15th century coaching inn. Featured in one of Roald Dahl's books, and was also in the book was The Fantastic Mr. Fox. And it was also that very pub was in the film Fantastic Mr. Fox that was produced about 2 or 3 years ago. Starred various luminaries on voiceover roles. It was an animated film. And we actually had Brad Pitt and who was the other guy? You know the fella. His name will come to me in a minute. Came and had a pint in that pub just as part of the research for the film, and it was George Clooney, that was the other guy. And you can imagine it sent all the school mums into sort of overload when they heard that Brad Pitt and George Clooney were in the village. Anyway, they were there doing research for the film that they were doing voiceovers for, Fantastic Mr. Fox. And the reason they were there, the reason why that pub was in the film and in the books, is because Great Missenden's most famous resident is perhaps Roald Dahl. And in fact he lived just to the left of me, and his family still lives up that way. If you don't know who Roald Dahl is, of course he was the children's author, and he wrote all sorts of things like James and the Giant Peach, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, amongst many other favourites. And he was latter part of his life, here we are, there's the museum, latter part of his life he was based in Great Missenden, and his gypsy caravan is still here, as is his shed where he wrote his books, and so on and so forth. So there we are, Great Missenden, location number 6 of our tour of famous spots and people associated with the area. So that was part 2 of my series. There is a part 1 kicking about on the channel if you want to look for it, with some other stuff, and I think I've probably got at least enough material for another one. So might be another 6 months before I write it, or film it rather. So stay tuned, and hope you enjoy that. Hope you've enjoyed this one. For the meantime, I have to say it's absolutely sweltering out here still. I'll be very glad to get out of my biking kit. So ride safe, and I'll speak to you again soon. This has been the Missenden Flyer. Cheerio.